Doesn't the fact that she has come back mean anything to you?
Mitch, whose lawyer are you? Are you mine or hers? Every time I think about that woman, I get angry.
Maybe that's your trouble. You're concentrating too much on her and not enough on Jimmy.
Okay, so exactly what were some of the terms that were suggested?
Well, Webster and I didn't get very far. But I was thinking, perhaps shared custody would work well for you both.
You mean Carl and I would both have custody over Jimmy?
Mm-hmm. On an equal basis. That way, Jimmy wouldn't have to make any decision about which parent to live with.
Instead, he'd be flipped back and forth like a coin or something.
Gene, sleep on it. Tomorrow we
No,
can get...
Mitch. I'll never give him up, never. Not for a day.
Phil, what are you doing here?
I want some answers, Becky, and you can skip the ones that you already rehearsed with Cohen.
Okay. Why don't you start giving me some questions? What is this, the Phil Hayes quiz show?
Oh, come on, Becky, now. This is no time to play games with Summerwind. Just how much behind this decision of Cohen's were you?
What decision? I'm supposed to know what the decision is now?
Cohen's dumping us! No, correction. He's dumping me and Summerwind. We wouldn't want to include you, our upcoming solo singing star, in the us part, would we?
I'm sorry. Phil, that's a tough break. I mean, you guys are a great band.
How'd you manage it, Becky? I mean, were you singing a love song into Cohen's ear while he had the receiver up to the other one giving us the axe?
Phil, I haven't seen David all morning.
Are you telling me that you haven't talked with him about the band? Well, did you?
No, I didn't. Look, you have to understand how a man like David thinks and how he
you're
feels.
real good at understanding how a man does that, especially when he comes right out and tells you.
Phil, Summerwind is, they're the best band in this area. There's no question you guys know your stuff, but... Well, David's a professional and he's a perfectionist, and you guys have the talent, you just don't have the experience.
And which one are you, Becky? The experience?
Look, Phil, I've got a lot to do around here. I think maybe you better leave.
No way, pretty lady. You're not getting off of this one easy. Look, I haven't gotten what I came here to get, and that is a straight answer from you.
Dunbar's exact words, my client will not accept no fault as grounds for divorce.
That's just like Gene. All or nothing. Always thinking he's right and everybody else in the world who can't see like he does is wrong.
Well, sounds to me more like that one-horse lawyer of his to me. I mean, you can bet Dunbar's got his nose in there somewhere. I mean, I can see him hand-and-rattling a whole list of consequences attached to no fault.
I want to make this clear, Mr. Webster. I'm not looking for a fight in the court. Now, I've been there before, and I don't want Jimmy to have to experience something like that.
What if your husband insists?
There must be some other way that we could do it before it comes to that.
Miss Rellin, your husband's already got the jump on us. Now, if he files for custody on the basis of desertion, he won't have any trouble proving it.
I kept in touch. At least with Jimmy. And I'm certain he still has some of those letters I sent him.
Letters won't mean anything to a judge. And if that judge's name happens to be Slaymaker, you can just hang it up. See, motherhood isn't even a foot in the door nowadays where custody of children is concerned.
My son will not grow up without knowing me, Mr. Webster. Now, maybe being a mother is low on your scale, but that's not going to stop me from being the best one I can. Now, Jimmy needs me, and God knows I need him.
Look, I said that your husband had an advantage. I didn't say that we were at a total disadvantage.
So there is another way?
Miss Redlin, there is always another way.
Now, all I want to know is, how do you stop Gene from keeping Jimmy away from me?
Well, you can do a little bit of filing on your own. I mean, I'm pretty sure you can come up with some ideas that would support grounds for custody of your little Jimmy. And on the other hand, your husband could turn around and sue for custody on the basis of desertion. I am sure that Mr. Dunbar will not hesitate for a moment to apprise him of that fact.
Then maybe I should just take Jimmy and run.
Well, like I told you before, you've got that option, and in this case, it might not be a bad idea. But remember one thing. You are still legally and lawfully Miss Jean Redland, and you don't need anybody's permission.
Phil, I told you, Cohen just wanted a more experienced band.
Yeah, he didn't mention experience the first time he heard us.
Yeah, well, things are different now. I mean, we're not talking about a one-night stand where you just rehearse a couple hours and you go on. When you cut a record album, you have to, I mean, it demands all your time. There's plane trips, there's publicity.
Oh, yeah, publicity. Tell me about it, Becky. I mean, after all, aren't you the one who knows it all now? You're the one with all the experience.
Look, I know you've been in this a lot longer than I have, Phil,
Oh, I've been in this since before you knew the meaning of the word rehearse, babe. And now, all of a sudden, you're so worldly about this business here. All of a sudden, now you know exactly what it takes to make it into the limelight.
I learned a lot from you, Phil.
You didn't learn anything from me, nothing. Everything you learned hanging around Cohen, and it seems to me that it must have been part of your character already because you picked up on it quite quickly.
I think maybe you'd better leave.
I bet you didn't even flinch at the idea of getting rid of me. Well, let me tell you something. You and Cohen can make all the decisions you want to. But I want you to know that that doesn't change a thing about the way I feel about you. I still love you, Becky.
Phil, we've been all through this before. Apparently, you're not listening.
No. I was listening. And there is nothing that is going to make me believe that there wasn't anything between us.
There was a working relationship, and that's it! Look, since you're so aware all of a sudden, have you ever noticed exactly when these great emotions of yours flared up?
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the minute there was a possibility for a record album, you figure out that you're in love with the lead singer of your band.
Wait, I can't believe this. At least not from you.
Phil, you never even bothered to get to know me. Come on. You look at me and you see a gold album. Then David happens along and he confirms it. You figure you better work pretty fast to assure your little plan, huh?
Cohen put you up to this, didn't he?
Phil, let's face it. There's nothing here for you.
So help me, Becky. Cohen has got a few things to answer for.
Oh, Vince. You're here.
Well, you did say come by around noon.
Yeah, let me take your coat, okay?
You didn't say anything about this being a threesome.
It's not. I've asked Phil to leave.
Oh, well, allow me. Only I don't ask. On your way, drummer boy.
We haven't finished with this yet.
I don't like to say things twice.
Oh, Vince, I'm glad you're here.
Hello, Mother? It's Miriam. How are you? That's nice. Mother, I need to know the name of that salon. I've got to get my hair done. What salon should I go to? Mother, why don't you just come home so I don't have to talk to you on the phone like this? Please, Mother, I really need you. Wait, what are you doing?
Give it to
I'm
me,
talking
Miriam.
to Mother. I need a salon, Nancy.
Well, Miriam, dear, if you need a salon, why don't you just ask me? I'm your friend.
Well, where should I go?
I'll get that.
Nancy? Wait a minute.
Daddy? Daddy, is that you?
Yes, it's me, ma'am. Well, I just came over to see how you, both of you, were.
Oh, my hair.
What?
I want my hair
She wants to get her hair done at the salon. Miriam, I just thought of a wonderful place. Why don't you just go upstairs in the bedroom? It's written down in my address book. Go bring it down for me, will you, dear?
Yes, I've got to get my hair done.
Now, what do you want?
Well, I told you I came over to see how you were, plus the fact that there's rent and food to talk about.
Oh, well, how touching. I'm glad you cared. Why didn't you care when I was being hauled off into jail?
Nancy, it could have been a lot worse.
Charles, I just lost my house. I spent 24 long hours barred up in a cell, and I'd just become disillusioned with the man that I thought cared for me very much.
But I do.
Well, if it wasn't for Miriam needing me, I would have left you in this two-bit town long ago. It's brought me nothing but trouble ever since I've been here.
Nancy, I've said it before, and I don't mind repeating it at all. I'm delighted that you're here taking care of Miriam and that you're living here. It makes our seeing each other a little more convenient.
Well, don't bet on it. I mean, I've got two legs. I can just walk out of here any time.
Nancy, I care for you very much, and I hope to make up for my behavior. I miss not having you next to me in the mornings.
You mean you haven't gotten a replacement?
A replacement? Oh, Nancy, please.
Just how much do you care for me, Charles? I mean, do you want me enough to make certain conditions? That it be a more permanent relationship. I want you to divorce Helen.
All I'm saying is that at least consider your wife's terms. Now, I talked to
No way,
Webster
Mitch. Now, it was a mistake on my part for not going through with the divorce 2 years ago. Believe me, I know what I'm talking about. If it takes a fight in court, then that's what Carla's gonna get.
I would say that Jimmy's the one who's going to get whatever there is to get in a courtroom. And the first thing that comes to mind is anguish. Now, that's a mighty heavy burden for any child to carry.
Jimmy is my whole life, and at least what's left of it. I can't sit back and give him to some woman who I don't even trust.
Oh, now, that woman happens to be the mother of your son. There must have been a time when you did trust her.
Yes, with everything in every way until she walked out on me and Jimmy.
Doesn't the fact that she has come back mean anything to you?
Mitch, whose lawyer are you? Are you mine or hers? Every time I think about that woman, I get angry.
Maybe that's your trouble. You're concentrating too much on her and not enough on Jimmy.
Okay, so exactly what were some of the terms that were suggested?
Well, Webster and I didn't get very far. But I was thinking, perhaps shared custody would work well for you both.
You mean Carla and I would both have custody over Jimmy?
Mm-hmm. On an equal basis. That way, Jimmy wouldn't have to make any decision about which parent to live with.
Instead, he'd be flipped back and forth like a coin or something.
Gene, sleep on it. Tomorrow we
No,
can get...
Mitch. I'll never give him up, never. Not for a day.
Just a minute, I'll be right there. I said, it's open, come on in.
Gee, it smells good in here.
Jimmy! Lord knows I'll miss my little man. Oh, you didn't forget me.
I'll never forget you, Grandma.
Bless your heart. Now you just go right in that kitchen and get yourself a piece of that pie on the counter.
Pie? What kind?
Guess.
Cherry. That's my favorite.
And don't forget to wash it down with some milk. I started baking early this morning, and before I realized it, it turned out to be a cherry pie. Come on in.
Well,
Oh, Jean's still at work. Don't worry about it. Come on in.
all right.
Oh.
You're always doing something with your hands, aren't you?
Oh, well, I like to keep busy. It keeps me out of mischief.
You? Mischievous?
Yes, me. Where you think Gene gets that streak from? I wouldn't admit this to him, though. You two still warring with each other?
You mean if we're still disagreeing about our grounds for divorce? Yeah.
Oh. You know, when Gene's father was alive, and we used to have our little talks, as we used to call them. Sometimes they get a little steamed up, and the Lord would just step right in, and before we knew it, we were agreeing with each other.
Well, it's not that way between me and Jean. And I don't think it's ever going to be that way.
That was the best pie you ever made, Grandma.
Oh, you always say that.
Can I take some of it with me when I go back to Mom's?
Well, I was hoping you and your mother would stay for supper.
Great. Can we, Mom?
I don't know. I really think we should be getting back.
Please, Mom.
Divorce Helen?
Charles, you act as though you'd never heard that before. Miriam told me that you were the one that told Helen that in the first place.
But Nancy, the point is, I don't even know where she is.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter, not immediately anyway. And besides, that little flight of hers would be more than enough grounds for divorce.
But, well, Helen, it's almost as if she's from another era. To her, divorce and murder are one and the same.
Oh, really, Charles? And what era am I from? Early morning or late night?
Now, I didn't mean that at all, and you know it.
No, I don't know it, Charles. All I know is I signed Nancy Lawson, not Nancy Carpenter, to the bottom of those checks when I bought sheets for our bed.
Could we discuss that later? There are, after all, some other things of greater concern here.
I don't understand you. I mean, one minute you're telling me how much you miss me, and then the next you have more important things to talk about. And here I am looking after your daughter, and this is the way you treat me?
Nancy, couldn't we start by resuming our relationship, and then later I could...
Goodbye, Charles.
What?
We can get together again once you start making arrangements for a divorce from the current Mrs. Carpenter.
But Nancy...
Goodbye, Charles.
All right. But I don't make any promises. But I will consider the matter, though.
I heard voices. Was there somebody here to see me? I wish Daddy would come.
Miriam, you mean you didn't even... Oh. No, actually, it was just the mailman.
Oh, the mailman. Mother send me a letter?
No, Miriam. Mother won't be writing to you. Your father thinks that you're the reason Helen left.
Oh, no. I better call her. Tell her I'm really sorry.
Well, actually, Miriam, why don't you go have a rest first?
No, I want Mother.
Well, come on, have some medication. It'll help your concentration. Come on. Really, Miriam, you keep this up, you're gonna hurt yourself.
Yeah, so that's when I started following all the rules. You know, candy for the children, up-to-date magazine, the works.
I can't believe your first patient told you that your office made her nauseous.
Yeah. Mrs. Ada Mae Kofer. Well, I'll never forget her. She even asked me for a discount.
I used to bug Scott about his office, and he'd say, Terry, it's unethical for a reporter to have a neat office.
You still miss him, don't you?
Some days I forget he's gone. It's still so... Well...
I understand. You know, I haven't had a good dinner in months now. So why don't I take you out for dinner tonight? We'll look for 2 juicy steaks about an inch thick and...
No, I don't think so, Alex.
Look, I know what it's like to lose someone that you love. You and Scott were more than just friends to me when I lost my wife. I just want to repay the favor.
I know you do, and I appreciate it. Really, I do.
Hi. Can I join you two?
Sure.
Yeah, sure, Ben. Now, sit down.
Oh, it's the first chance I've had to sit all day. I spent the morning across town with a group of paramedics.
Oh, yeah, the emergency evacuation team. How did the session go?
Oh, it was great. They're really a dedicated bunch of men. Oh, by the way, while I was driving over there, I saw Nancy coming out of a drugstore over on Oak Avenue. I take it her life behind bars has ended?
Yes. She stopped by the house the other day to pick up her clothes. I had the locks changed at Mother's place.
I don't think she'll be bothering you anymore.
You know, I don't think that there is an ounce of forgiveness in Nancy.
Maybe she had it removed surgically.
Well, where's Nancy spending her days now?
You know, I really don't know. I suppose she's a guest of the Carpenters.
God, I'm certainly glad you and Jimmy could stay for supper.
Me too.
I can't believe I said yes.
Oh, I did twist your arm, Mike. Gene ought to be home any time now.
Does Gene always get home this early?
Ever since he got that county job.
I guess some things have changed in 2 years. I never could count on him being home at a certain time, always chasing some news stories.
You know, don't say I said it, but I think he's mellowing a little bit.
Well, something sure smells good. You decided...
Dad!
Hey, Hey, Jimmy. Hey, baby.
Carla came by for a visit with Jimmy and I invited them both to stay for supper tonight.
I hope you don't mind.
I didn't expect...
Well, put your eyes back in your head and sit down because supper's ready. Now, Jimmy, you go get the tea put on the table, and Carla, now you sit right there, and Jimmy will sit over there, and I'll sit here. All right?
Grandma made cherry pie for dessert.
Good. That's your favorite, right?
Oh, Terry, I've been looking all over for you.
Ben, what's wrong? Lori, is she all right?
She's fine.
Ben, Peter, something's happened to
Terry.
him. Where is he?
He's on his way to emergency. Now, there was an accident at work.
No,
but I
no,
don't-
not
Terry,
Peter!
no, Terry, just wait a minute. Terry!